I hope you enjoy my weekly substack. This one is the first of 2026 and it's a different take on the new year, new you. No idea why I just did that, but hey, for emphasis. Okay, let me just hit record on my substack because I'm doing the audio at the same time. This is take one, pretty much the only takes that I generally do. Okay, I'm going to hit record and go from there. So you're going to see me doing live. Hi, I'm Narelle. My Substack this week is the first for 2026. And welcome to the new year. I think it's a really refreshing, unifying moment that we all have where perhaps we get a moment to pause, reflect where we've been, and project a little bit of where we would like to go. Okay, the title this week is Not New, Just Becoming. And it's a slower, more intentional way to step into the new year. There's something about this moment, the quiet after the noise, the space after the fullness, the pause before we rush headlong into what's next. I've historically resisted the new year, new you. It's always felt a little bit too shiny, too loud, too binary. But here's the reframe that I'm leaning into again for 2026. It's still you, just a little more informed, a little more honest, a little more you-shaped. We evolve daily through seasons, experiences, bodies, relationships. There's no single right way to begin the year, only your way. So let's start there. It's my intro, and then there's 3 sections: life, eats, and wellness. And I see them as all interlinked. I'd love to know your feedback. I always do. I think it's a really good thing to be able to share and have the conversation, which I'm all here for. The life section, space after the season. In our house, we're traditional. The tree stays up until Epiphany. It has held on quite well, although let's just say rigor mortis has actually set in. When I wrote this Substack, it was still slightly a bay, but I've got a scent in my house that it really needs to go. So before packing everything away, I'm going to gather every bit of my decorations from around the house and place them basically beside my tree. Then I'm going to do a quiet audit, not to judge anything, but just to notice what I really enjoyed this year, what I didn't, what is still relevant right now, what I want to basically pack away for the future, because Christmas will come again. Whether I've got the same energy, let's just see. Okay, and then it's going to come down, and suddenly there it is, space. That bare, slightly echoey feeling. We'll have space to breathe, space to see, most importantly for me, space to think. I talk a lot about negative space when decluttering homes, but this is where people will really feel it. The decorations didn't just disappear whilst they've been up for the last month. They were simply absorbed into our lives. Now they're gone. Ask yourself, how did I use my space over the festive season? What felt full in a good way? What felt overwhelming? Then gently widen the lens. Open a cupboard, your garage, or the loft, a shelf, or even just a storage box. How full is it really? I mean, January provides this moment where everyone wants a release, lots of newness, discarding, starting again. But I don't think January is something where we need to be ruthless at all. It's really just honing in and becoming aware. So I've got a few January declutter workshops going on. So if you're interested in more of that, want a focused deep dive, get in touch. But if that's not you, this channel gives you the option just to perhaps focus on one of my 15-minute wins. But choosing these areas every single day, it's just one thing. Bite size, small. These simple 15-minute wins are not just to clear the space in your home, but to notice habits, what your default is, and patterns that are quietly shaping your life might not necessarily be happy with. Obviously, I do lots of in-home and virtual support with organising, downsizing and streamlining. Always taking bookings, so get in touch. The next section is eating, and they were talking about variety here over perfection. Because at the end of December and into January, I certainly always feel I need that real sort of reset and cleanse. Not any form of punishment, just a sort of moment of re-anchoring and working out again what I need. So I do a 50 plant a week focus, and it's not a forever thing. It's not perfectly, and it's just choosing some intentionality about it. Now, travel days, social meals, winter food, it's all going to still fit, but variety is the focus. So doing this short defined challenge, I can then settle back into around 30 plants a week afterwards without too much effort. My shopping basket changes, my boredom with food certainly lifts, and my energy most of all improves. This isn't about rules. It's about stimulation for the gut, the brain, and the microbiome, which you may have heard about. A gentle reminder here, and I've shared this since 2019 and still stand by it. The thriving microbiome loves variety of plant foods across the week, probiotic foods daily like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, or kimchi, prebiotic foods, things like oats, onions, leeks, garlic, and keeping the skin on your fruit and veg. Movement, enough, not excessive. I think we could all just increase all of that, to tell you the truth. And less ultra-processed food. UK diets average around 60% ultra-processed, which is mental. And then rest, including giving your digestive system a rest. So looking at a 10 to 12 hour fasting window overnight. Now, everybody's body is different. Of course it is. And there's no universal right number. So if 50 feels easy to you, 50 might be that gentle nudge just to make you curious again about food. And curiosity is totally where change sticks. So 50 plants. Now, it can come from all areas. Herbs and spices, nuts, fruits, vegetables. Look at the whole range of everything. Now, you can do elements of breaking it down into, you might have heard of things like plant points, and divvy them up into a quarter here and half there. Actually, I can't be bothered with that, so I do 50, and then it's just everything that you've got in there. If you're like me, you can always even sneak in coffee as one of your plant points. Great for polyphenols. Now, last section is wellness. We're going to begin quietly here because many of us have already arrived emotionally full, that's for sure, after the festive season. The end of year absolutely can be joyful, and yet it's still exhausting. We've got family dynamics, expectations. I definitely tried to minimize my own throughout December, that's for sure. Lots of noise and also lots of doing. So before racing into January with your declarations and demands, I want to offer something quieter. Pause. Let the dust settle. Ask yourself, how does this new year actually feel in my body? Is it loud online but quiet in real life? Or perhaps vice versa? Do I need momentum or recovery? Now, last year, I set intentions that shaped my year under the guise of the word slowgress. Slow progress. If you've not listened to me before, you may not have come across that word, and I think it's really, really apt for someone, for instance, I do, is I project so much out there. I want to race through it. I want to have done everything and achieved. And sometimes I really need to put the brakes on quite hard, actually, in order to slow me down and to not be disappointed. So it's actually a real blessing. I broke my thumb in September, and it was a reminder that I really needed to do a little bit more adapting and adjusting and sitting with change, which is tricky sometimes when it's out of your control. And I am a recovering control freak. Many of you know that. So I fulfilled more travel, big on my list, connection with the wider family, and expanding my business. So tick, tick, tick. Very happy with actually how 2025 was for me. They weren't based on trends, they were timely for me, and that's the key. So your plans and goals don't need to be impressive, especially to somebody else, because they need to be yours. Reflection isn't passive, it's powerful. It filters out noise. It reveals what matters now, not what mattered last year. No one has it all worked out, and I'm constantly reminding myself that. Not one of us knows what's coming next. But today, the next minute, it's totally yours. As we step into 2026, remember there is no rush. Time won't slow down, but we can choose how we fill it. If this resonates, as always, I would love it if you would share it with someone who might need that softer start. But it might just be you, and that ripple effect will be even more powerful than you can imagine. So, tell me, what is guiding you into this year? Happy New Year, by the way. I will fill you in on my word for the year. It's patience, and it's a reminder for myself. Again, brakes on, can't push through things too fast. Patience for all my hopes and dreams, that they will evolve and we can have everything, but often not at the same time, because the sacrifices along the way with that, sometimes I have found definitely hysterical thinking that I could have it all, that I hadn't realized what I was sacrificing. And a lot of that is happiness and pleasure and connection with my family. So yeah, we can have it all, just not at the same time, is one of my big beliefs. So I'm going to allow myself a lot more space. I'm going to let things unfold. Most importantly, I'm going to do it my way. And I really hope you do too. So thank you for listening. This was actually longer than I expected, nearly 12 minutes. So thank you. I appreciate everyone that follows, reads, comments, because it keeps me going. So thank you. I'm Narelle. I'm here on my YouTube channel, or you can find me also on my socials at midlife.reallife and at the Organized Edit. My Substack, I'm everywhere. So yeah, I look forward to 2026 and the exciting times ahead. Thank you for joining me. Bye.